Raw this week was exactly like Raw last week, and the Raw the week before that, and the Raw the week before that, and the Raw the week before that. Raw this week was absolutely a waste of time. It was pointless, man. This Raw episode, I've been saying this for like, I don't know how many weeks now, but if you skipped this episode, if you missed it, if you didn't watch it, you didn't miss out on anything. Nothing changed. This was 2 hours and 30 minutes worth of filler and just nonsense. Half of the matches weren't even watchable at that. Oh my god, I don't know if you had the displeasure of watching that Maxine Dupree and Becky Lynch match. Jesus Christ, what was that? Oh god, throw me in the ring and I promise you I will put on a better match, 10 times better match than whatever that was. Jesus Christ. And somehow that match was absolutely atrocious. And somehow the Lyra Valkyria and Roxanne Perez match managed to be even worse than it. I'd rather watch that Maxine Dupree and Becky Lynch match 10 times over than watch that Lyra Valkyria and Roxanne Perez match ever again. Those matches were so bad. So bad. Oh my god. It's like they didn't even try this episode. As a matter of fact, they didn't even try this episode at all. And you could tell. They haven't been trying at all. And this was so bad. And let's keep it honest. I just don't want to be negative. Let's prove a point real quick. After watching this episode, tell me, what really changed after watching this episode of Raw? Nothing changed. Are you even in the slightest bit more excited about Crown Jewels this Saturday? Probably not. I'm not either. This show didn't add to the hype. It didn't add to anything. Nothing happened on this show. Did we at least get something new, something different, or something even worth watching on this show? Also, no. So, like, what was really the point of this show, honestly? Like, for real, what was the point of it? It didn't add any hype to Crown Jewel. We didn't get to see anything new, anything different, anything worth watching. And nothing changed after watching this episode. No storylines changed. No new layers got added to these storylines. No, nothing. It's still the same thing. And you're going to watch Raw next week. It's going to be the same nonsense after the PLE. And, like, while we're on the topic, what's really the point of Crown Jewels right now? None of the matches really matter who wins, who loses. It doesn't matter. It's just a filler PLE. Each week, WWE gives you a new reason to like watch less and less and less. And it's so crazy. And you're even seeing it with less fans showing up on Raw, less fans showing up on SmackDown, low ratings for Raw and SmackDown. And they're not taking this as a hint to produce better product, presentable product worth watching. Really, come on. This video does not need to be long. I think I'm ranting already, and this is not a rant video. This is a review video. So let's get right into the review. But before we get into that, let's talk about the quote of the day. Quote of the day. The world is a giant book, and every sunrise is an invitation to read a brand new page. Don't just skim it, underline the joy, highlight the laughter, and dog-ear the moments you want to revisit. The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of his hands. Psalms chapter 19, verse 1. That is your quote of the day. Now let's get right into this video. So on this episode of Raw, we kicked off with a in-ring promo from the OTC himself, the tribal chief Roman Reigns. And this was pointless. This was meaningless. Roman Reigns literally did not even say anything of substance, which is shocking. Like, most of the time when Roman Reigns is in the ring, you have to listen to what he's saying. It means something. It leads to something. This was so pointless. Roman Reigns comes out. He has like his 10-minute intro where he's walking in and hearing the crowd singing and stuff like that. And then he finally gets in the ring. Before he could even say anything, he gets interrupted by none other than the Bronson Reed and Paul Heyman. And I'm like, I thought this was over with. What are we still doing here? Why are we still caught up in this storyline? Why is he getting interrupted by the Oracle, Paul Heyman, and Bronson Reed at this point? Like, you have him return just to do that nonsense? We can't get anything new, anything different? Jesus Christ. But anyhow, though, Paul Heyman ends up interrupting Roman Reigns as soon as Roman Reigns gets into the ring, as soon as he's ready to talk. And Paul Heyman tells Roman Reigns that not once have you ever had to leave an arena on a stretcher. Then the one man that you truly fear came along, Bronson Reed, and he put you out on a stretcher. And Bronson Reed went on to tell Roman Reigns, your father, your uncle, both of them have never had to be stretchered out. How do you think they felt watching you get stretchered out of the arena? Which was a pretty cool line, but it doesn't really mean much. Roman Reigns then went on to retort and say absolutely nothing. He told Bronson Reed, you didn't know my father, you didn't know my uncle, but if they were here right now, they would be telling me, fight him now. So let's do it. And that's literally what the OTC said. That's literally what he showed up to say, and that's literally what he showed up to do. After he said that, he said, if my father and my uncle were here, they'll tell me to fight him now. So that's what we're going to do. Let's do it. And then they break out into a huge brawl, a brawl we've seen before, spots we've seen before, the same nonsense we've seen before, the same security guards, officials breaking it up like we've seen before. And it's announced that we're getting a match at Crown Jewels, and it's going to be Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed at Crown Jewels in an Australian street fight. Did we not already see this nonsense? Did we not see the Tribal Thief versus the OTC already? Did Roman Reigns not already beat Bronson Reed? Yes? Why are we still in the storyline? Why are we still hung up on this? We've literally seen this nonsense before. The same story, the same feud, the same promo, the same brawl, the same everything. Just move on already. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Just move on already. It's time. It's time. Give Roman Reigns something different, something new, something meaningful. Anyhow, after that opener, we got the first atrocious match of the night, and it was Becky Lynch versus Maxine Dupree. I don't even think there is a word I could use to describe how bad it was, how unwatchable this nonsense was. I don't think there's a dictionary word that exists that I could use here to describe how much a waste of time this was. Okay, I'm telling you right now, if Maxine Dupree's character is based on being a terrible in-ring competitor, then she's doing a tremendous job at it. She's doing exceptional at being a terrible in-ring competitor. But if that's not her character, however, then Jesus Christ, she's bad in the ring. This match was so terrible. It was so long. It was unwatchable. On top of it being unwatchable, it went on for far too long for how bad the match was. This match was literally like maybe 15 minutes minimum. This match was so long. I'm like, why is this still going on? Why is it still on my screen? Why is it not getting any better? Oh God. This match was so atrocious, like I said. It was boring, it was a waste of time, and it was pointless. But anyways, though, shockingly enough, at the end of the match, Maxine Dupree ended up beating Becky Lynch, and I did not see that coming at all. Maxine Dupree ended up winning via countout, so it doesn't really matter. Nothing really changes. Nobody cares. But with all that being said, though, even though this match was terrible, even though Maxine Dupree still kind of sucks in the ring, she has considerably improved in the ring. She's still not good. She's still not amazing by any means, but she's gotten a little bit better. I could tell that she's been putting in work, putting in the effort. She needs a lot of more work and effort. I'm gonna tell you this right now. But at least she's getting a little bit better. She's still very much inexperienced, and that shows, but she's getting a little bit better day by day, I guess. So I'll give that credit. But anyhow, after this, we got a backstage segment between Roman Reigns and the Usos. And Roman Reigns is still basically pulling the strings, and he's still basically telling Jey Uso what to do. And Jimmy Uso saw this, and he's questioning both the motive of Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. So Jimmy's like, what's really going on here? Why are you listening to the tribal chief? Why are you listening to Roman Reigns? So that's what Jimmy Uso was basically questioning Jey and Roman about. Like, what's Roman's end goal here? And later on in the show, we saw another segment between Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso. And Roman Reigns went on to tell Jimmy Uso that as soon as Jey Uso won the World Heavyweight Championship, he became a lot more like me and a lot less like you. Sometimes the best thing to do if you really care about him is to stay out of his way and let him do what he's doing. So he basically told Jimmy Uso to stay out the way and stop distracting Jimmy Uso if he really cares about him, which was pretty cool, I guess. But I don't think this is really going to lead to anything. I don't think this is going to lead to Jey Uso getting his championship back or anything, so I don't really know what's the point of this. But it's cool seeing nonetheless. After this, we got our second atrocious match of the night, and it was Lyra Valkyria versus Roxanne Perez. And like I said at the beginning of the video, this match was even worse than the Maxine Dupree match. I would rather watch the Maxine Dupree match 10 times over than this nonsense ever again. This was so bad. And this was worse than the other matchups we've seen between them before. But anyhow, though, the main thing that was bothering me about this show was like, we've seen all this before, so nobody really cares. And on top of this match being absolutely a waste of time and nobody caring about this match, it had the audacity to be boring on top of it. But anyways, though, at the end of the match, due to distractions from Bayley and Raquel Rodriguez, Roxanne Perez was able to hit the Pop Rocks for the win on Lyra Valkyria. After that atrocious match, we got a pretty neat John Cena and AJ Styles video package hype promo, which was pretty cool. I enjoyed it for what it was, but I would much prefer them doing a on the Titantron type of interview where John Cena doesn't have to show up so it doesn't waste one of his appearances. So just have them be on the Titantron side by side like they normally do and just have them cut a promo against each other, because you're putting up video packages and they still have yet to step in the ring to face each other face to face. So what are we really building here? At the very least, do a side by side thing and make it more interesting. But no, WWE's lazy. They can't even do that. So you have two people feuding and they haven't even cut a promo against each other, and that's the feud. But anyhow, let's just move on. The video package, the hype promo, it was neat. It was whatever. Okay, we're just going to move on. After this, we got a backstage segment between Bayley, Lyra Valkyria, and Roxanne Perez, as well as Raquel Rodriguez. So Bayley and Lyra Valkyria were still mad about the fact that Raquel interfered in the match, and they went on backstage to jump Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez. And that was that. We saw the split personality Bayley back again, and we saw Lyra Valkyria being a little bit meaner, I would say. She's kind of playing off Bayley's character too, because I'm like, this isn't in your character. You wouldn't normally go backstage and attack anyone. So we're seeing both a meaner Bayley and a meaner Lyra Valkyria, which is pretty interesting in my opinion. But that was that. After this, we got an in-ring promo from CM Punk. And CM Punk basically went on to thank the fans for their reception of AJ Lee's return. And CM Punk went on to say that he hasn't been here for the past 2 weeks because he promised his good pal, his good buddy, his BFF, Cody Rhodes, that he would stay out of his business. I'm like, do you want a championship or not? What are we talking about over here? Talking about my best friend, my good friend, Cody Rhodes. Do you not want your championship back, CM Punk? Make up your mind. Anyhow, though, he hasn't been here for 2 weeks because of Cody Rhodes. So there you go. Here's another aspect that Cody Rhodes is ruining. But anyhow, CM Punk went on to say that he will be getting his championship back from Seth Rollins, though. After Crown Jewel, some later time in the future, he will be getting his championship back from Seth Rollins. Then CM Punk went on to get interrupted by LA Knight. LA Knight came out and basically said, "Let me talk to you. Yeah. Look into my eyes. What do you see? You should see a man who has never gotten the championship reign that he deserves. You may be a good husband, but you're a terrible champion. You held it for what, 5 minutes, then got it pinned by Seth Rollins twice back to back. I've never been pinned by Seth Rollins. I was the last one to pin Seth Rollins, and I will damn sure be the next one to pin him." And that's basically what he told CM Punk. Basically, get in line. I'm up next. Then both of them went on to get interrupted by main event Jey Uso. Mr. 4 letters, 1 word, Yeet Man Jey Uso. So Jey Uso basically came out for no reason. He said nothing. He literally said 2 lines and that was it. Jey Uso came out and said, "I'm the one who never got my rematch for the World Heavyweight Championship, and I'm the one who's up next for it. Yeet." And that was it. I'm like, that's what you came out for? Really? Really? That's what you came out for? That's what you wasted our time for? To come out and say, yeet, I never got my rematch and I'm up next. Come on, man. But anyhow, LA Knight went on to tell Jey Uso that you lost it because you think you're not Roman Reigns enough. You are not Roman Reigns. You'll never be Roman Reigns. You got to get that through your head. You're better off as a tag team competitor. And Jey Uso heard that disrespect. He felt it. That line, "you're better off as a tag team competitor," rocked him to his soul. He ended up super kicking LA Knight. And Jimmy Uso came out to basically defuse the situation, but he couldn't. He was trying to play peacemaker, but he couldn't. CM Punk ended up attacking Jey Uso, and Jimmy Uso had to retaliate against CM Punk for attacking his twin, which is rightfully deserved. And this basically went on to create our main event for later on tonight, and it was Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso versus CM Punk and LA Knight. After this, we got a pretty neat video package promo from Io Sky, basically responding to Asuka, saying, "Rhea Ripley was right about you. You only care about yourself. You're selfish. You are not the reason I became champion. All you have ever done was steal the credit for my accomplishments. I should have listened to Rhea Ripley sooner. We are no longer family, Asuka. And at Crown Jewels, you'll find out that you're not ready for Io Sky." And that was that. After that, we finally got to our third match of the night, and it was Io Sky versus Kairi Sane. And we finally got a decent match after being 2 hours deep into this show. After 2 wasted hours, we finally got a decent match, a watchable match, a semi-entertaining match. After 2 hours, okay? This match, like I said, was pretty entertaining. It was pretty fun. The in-ring action was honestly really fun. I appreciated the pacing. It was really quick. It was really snappy. It was really fun to watch. We got impressive sequences and moves from both Io Sky and Kairi Sane, which was pretty neat. And overall, this was a pretty solid match. But anyways, at the end of the match, due to interference from Asuka, Kairi Sane was able to roll up Io Sky for the win. And after the match ended, the Kabuki Warriors went on to jump and beat down Io Sky, and they left her laid out, with no Rhea Ripley inside because she's apparently in Australia doing some sponsorship thing. Whoa. Okay, after this, we went on to get a backstage promo involving Seth Rollins and the Oracle Paul Heyman. And Seth Rollins went on to ask Paul Heyman, and he said, "I have to win this Saturday. I have to win at Crown Jewels. It's not up for debate. I need to win." Seth Rollins asked Paul Heyman, "What happens if I lose?" Paul Heyman tells Seth Rollins that if you lose to Cody, you lose the locker room, you lose the Bronze, and you lose everything we fought so hard to build, and you become nothing more than a secondary champion. So don't lose at Crown Jewels. And Seth Rollins went on to ask Paul Heyman, "What happens between us if I lose at Crown Jewels?" You didn't bring that up. Paul Heyman tells Seth Rollins that if you lose to Cody Rhodes at Crown Jewels, at some point down the line, I'll have to ask myself, why did I choose you over Roman Reigns? Why am I really here? So don't lose on Saturday. Don't lose at Crown Jewels. Don't lose to Cody Rhodes, because everything will come crashing down. And that was basically that. It was a pretty neat segment. I really like the stakes that they're trying to set up. I really like them trying to add more hype to it and add more meaning to it. That was pretty cool in my opinion. But anyhow, after this, we got to our 4th match of the night, and it was a 6-man tag match. It was Dragon Lee, AJ Styles, and Penta versus the Judgment Day, Dominic Mysterio, JD McDonough, and Finn Balor. This match had some low lows, this match had some mid-mids, and this match had some semi-decent moments. This match at times it was stale, and at times it was fun. This match was a roller coaster of emotions. Like, it wasn't good overall, nope. It wasn't good all throughout the match. It was good at some parts, it was bad at some parts, and it was just stale at other parts. And I was like, this match was such a whirlwind of emotions. This match was such a roller coaster of emotions. It was such a weird experience in my opinion. But overall, though, the match was solid. Besides all the low lows and the mid-mids, it had some pretty solid moments, some pretty good, memorable spots. So I'll give credit where credit is due. And it was at least something a bit new, something a bit different. So I appreciated that. But anyhow, though, at the end of the match, due to interference from Rusev, AJ Lee and Penta were able to pick up the win over the Judgment Day, and AJ Styles was the one to pin JD McDonough. After this match, we finally made it to our main event, and the main event, like I said, was the Usos versus CM Punk and LA Knight. And this match was absolutely exactly everything you'd expect. Nothing special, nothing really to say. It was decent. It's exactly what you would imagine, and it's exactly what you would envision when you hear this lineup. So this match wasn't really anything special. It was just solid. Everything you would imagine, like I said. We saw the meaner side of Jey Uso, the more aggressive Jey Uso, which was pretty cool. He looked really good in the ring. And Jimmy Uso as well really played his part, displaying how confused he was, how against it he was, and seeing that there is something wrong with this twin, and he's not really aligning with his morals right now. And Jimmy Uso's not really playing along with it. He doesn't really like this new change. So Jimmy Uso really played his part as well. And CM Punk and LA Knight were being CM Punk and LA Knight as always. So there's not really much to say about that. They were both doing solid work, and it was that. It was a solid match, like I said. But at the end of the match, due to some miscommunication on the Usos' end, CM Punk ended up hitting Jey Uso with a GTS, and LA Knight tagged himself in and pinned Jey Uso for the win. So there's more division between CM Punk and LA Knight, as well as more division between Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso. So that's pretty cool, pretty neat, I guess, but nobody really cares. It's not going to lead to anything too exciting. I hope it does, but I'm not hopeful at all. I've been watching the product as of late. I know better than to get my hopes up. So yeah, anyhow, though, that was your whole show. That was your whole episode. But anyhow, though, that was your whole show, and that was your whole episode of Raw this week. And overall, I would rate Raw this week a solid 3 out of 10. And like I said at the beginning of the show, nothing really changed, nothing really mattered, nothing really got advanced. Nobody's more excited about Crown Jewels, none of that. We didn't get anything different, anything new, anything worth watching, none of that. So this show was generally the definition of pointless, meaningless, and a waste of time. Nothing changed, nothing got advanced, it didn't make anything better, anything more entertaining. So this overall, if you skipped it, good on you. I'm happy that you did. I'm happy that you saved your time. You didn't waste it on this episode of Raw. But if you did watch it like me and had the displeasure of experiencing this terrible, atrocious week of Raw, I'm sorry. Anyhow, though, that was my review and my breakdown of this week's episode of Raw. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for hearing me out. And thank you for being here. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. Like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to. And like, comment, and subscribe if you choose to. As always, it's been a pleasure. I'm out.